I'm gonna go for it. Let's get going. Let's start this baby. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being interested in this content. I put this together with some help from people in the industry. I asked around. I thought, what better way to put information together than to ask people who are living this life every day, like myself, and talk about what's really worked for them and what's really worked for me, and then kind of dive deep into how it all works and why it all works and what do we do to as professionals stand out from the crowd. And what's really nice, I think, about the attempt to work for upselling in this industry is that it's a mutually beneficial. So it being mutually beneficial, you're going to see income go up from helping serve your clients better. And if that's not, a super bonus, I don't know what else is. The beautiful part of that is your clients are going to value you more while also helping to earn more income for yourself. And they want your assistance, they want your help, they want to know what you think. And most of them are going to say, I'll do whatever you think I should do. And then you're going to lead with, well, here's my professional opinion. Here's what I think. And and so by doing this, you're going to add value to your service. So we had talked about this in the past when I taught the 12 ways to add value to your service. And upselling was a huge part of it, but I could tell that most people weren't really prepared to take a deep dive into that, or didn't want to, or didn't want the feeling of, um, didn't want the feeling of, being too pushy with sales. And I think that this class is going to kind of open that up so that you can see better, what are you really doing when you're attempting to upsell. So first and foremost, let's redefine what it means. And I kind of touched on that just now, but by saying a little bit more, I'd say you're enhancing the experience. You're not pushing products. And so in doing that, we want to make it personal. So if you don't identify a need, then you're not really going to push a product. If you don't identify a place that you think you can 100% add benefit to your client, then it's not really going to be a good fit. And trying to sell to people who aren't really a good fit is a waste of time for you, and it's a waste of time for them. And at the end of the day, ultimately, time is money, and we don't have time to waste time. So keep in mind that if you can't find a need to serve, then it's time to move on. And if your client is using product, they like what they're using, then maybe you're upselling a service, maybe you're offering the beer trim. So don't educate, guide. We're looking to guide our client, and I like to think of it like this: when I'm at work behind the chair and I want to finish a service, I always offer to style in hopes that they'll allow me to, because I really want them to see the cut that I did. And if we don't style the cut, then we're not really going to see the finished product. And so sometimes if a client is on the fence, you might think, oh, I'd rather not worry about the extra work of styling their hair anyways. So if they opt not to get it styled, good, I didn't want to do it anyway. Well, you're leaving money on the table right there in many ways, because not only can your client not see the work you just put in because it's not styled, but also that's a potential upsell because you don't even know if they have product or if they use product regularly or if they are out, at home. So by offering the style and insisting that you'd like them to see what they're paying for the haircut, you're also going to identify these other potential needs. So the next thing I would say is learn your products. Um, it's super important to know what your shop has to offer. Whether you're, a barber just starting out or you're the owner of the shop, you want to know what ingredients are in your products. You want to know what types of needs they will satisfy. So that when you identify the need, you know exactly right away what the product's going to be for that person. And this is even without earning commission important because uh, you will earn trust. So if you don't actually have a commission structure for products in your shop, that's okay because by earning trust, you're also going to be increasing your retention rate. And so if you don't learn your products, you're not going to be able to really use them to satisfy the needs of your client when you identify those needs. And for me, a lot of it is also identifying the need of the client as far as their product preference. So most of my clients come in, I know what they like. I know what's popular. I know what most people are going for. I'd say right now we're seeing a huge increase for a while now in the matte, super matte finished products. People are kind of leaning away from shine, and I've got some guys that still prefer shine, and they will say so, and they'll come in and be looking for it. But for the most part, I'm selling a ton of matte finish, and then the whole just varies based on hair type and use case and what somebody does for a living and all those sorts of things. So some examples of upselling that are not necessarily all product related would be the beard trim. I think one of the most missed opportunities is an add-on beard trim. And if you're going to cut somebody's hair and you're going to send them out the door looking sharp from here up, but their beard is a mess, kind of like mine is today. I got to clean up under here and, get the little. But if I'm going to send somebody out the door and everything's looking top flight aces, but they've got this gnarly beard that's kind of wild, then, you're also kind of taking away from that style on top a little bit. So by offering the beard trim, you are helping them kind of finish the look and complete the look. Now, that being said, this isn't possible for everyone to try and add a beard trim on to every client every day. I know that some people are going to require more time. And if you're working and you've got a full book, maybe it's not feasible for you to add a beard trim on. So I would say another class I'm going to teach soon here is going to be speed and how to be as efficient and do a good job, but still be expedient, so that you can actually make time for these things. And I'd have to say that most of my haircuts, save for 15% of them, most of them are probably 22-minute haircuts. And that's me doing every single thing I can think of to make it exactly perfect, just how I think it should be. I don't cut corners, but pun intended. But it is a rather quick service so that I always have time for either a surprise add-on. So some people will come in and ask for beard trims, or I will suggest it if it looks like it needs help, and then that's an add-on right there. Or it helps me to complete the service here at the front desk. And so when somebody is done with their service and they come up to the front desk, I'm ready to cash them out. I always ask to rebook, and I always ask if they are in need of any products. And that allows me that time to finish that service the way I want. Because if you have to hand your customer off to somebody else to complete the service, it's kind of like already done in their mind. It's like once they say goodbye to you and you go on to your next client, they're already done with their service for the day here. It's kind of how they picture it in their heads. So if they're going to go out the door and you're expecting, hey, so and so at the front desk can help you if you need any products. Then they have to re-engage and kind of like have a small talk moment, and that person has to relearn your client's habits or preferences, and that's your job. That's what you do. That's who you are. So if they are interested in a product and you can't check them out, I would say, thank you for coming in. So and so will help you get checked out. Here's that product I used on your hair today. I'll put it on the desk in case you are interested in taking it home. It's $20 or whatever. And so can cash you out if that's something you'd like to take home with you today. If not, no big deal. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Huge finish just to kind of send it home. I mean, it's great if you have somebody that helps you check out because that is a perk. I mean, I would love it. My shop we don't have a front desk person. We're kind of all running our own business, and we're all taking care of jobs around the shop as a collaborative community effort. And I always thought I would put somebody at the front desk, and maybe I will still at one point, but it's actually kind of going really well. I love that I have my client from the front door, to my chair and then back out the front door. That's kind of how it should be. And so anyway, so examples: beard trim balances haircut. Hot towel adds relaxation, skincare. Typically, I don't think I would ever charge for a hot towel service. It's just something you're offering. It's not really going to break the bank, so I would never charge for it. Maybe some other shops do. I don't really think I know of any that charge for that, but it's roped into a lot of other services. Like some people will do it while they wash the hair. Some people will do a scalp massage and do a hot towel. Some people will, obviously, the hot towel service is included with a straight razor shave. Um, I think, oh, the other thing is upselling. Some people have tiered levels of cuts. So you'll see somebody, some of these shops will have like a regular basic cut, and they'll have like the executive cut, and then they'll have the super duper VIP cut, and that's when they'll throw in things like that. So it's nice to have available to you, and it's nice to oh, there's mine right there. I gotta go get that filled up. It's nice to offer it as just an add-on. Anyway, styling products. The biggest reason is to keep it looking fresh between cuts. People are going to want to, um, at least for private events or special occasions, but a lot of people that are in the office every day are using product every day, so you might as well be selling it to them. Now, each upgrade has a higher satisfaction of your client. So all of these things, whether they're making you more money or not, technically, if they're increasing retention, then they are making you more money. So if somebody that is kind of a drifter and they're seeing whomever, whenever, you start throwing these things on there, and they will immediately say, well, this is a higher level service than this other guy I see. This is more attention to detail, more attention to my needs than anyone else. And you'll start seeing this satisfaction rating go up. You'll have a stronger connection with your client, and you'll increase that retention. So to me, that's number one, two, three, four, and five. Upgrades are good for retention period. Whether or not they bring you income um, directly at that moment, doesn't matter. It's still going to be beneficial. Now, the last thing I'll say on this side of things is I want to talk about my commission structure. So my barbershop, when I when I see product sales in a barbershop, and I've got a pretty unique experience with that because selling my own product line, there was a long period of time where I was trying to get it into a ton of different shops, and I probably walked into 75 or 100 barbershops. And I was going all around Metro Detroit. I was, from Ann Arbor to Livonia to Auburn Hills. I was in Chicago. I was in Indiana. A lot of people don't know that because, I don't go out and shout it from the rooftops, but I get around, and, I've gone and attempted to make relationships. And the one thing that I think I noticed the most was most barbershops say, "Oh yeah, we don't really sell any product," but some of them said, "Oh yeah, my guys don't push product there. I don't ask them to, so they don't." And I think, why not? What are you doing? And a lot of them say, they can just buy it online, so we don't really worry about it. And my first thought was, okay, well, maybe we should be trying to sell products that aren't available online. And that's when I thought about taking my product offline. But I decided not to. And I decided that I would, here, when I opened my own shop, create a commission structure that would incentivize my barbers to make these sales because, A, like I said, it's good for your client. So it's going to make our shop look professional, and it's good for your pocketbook because potentially you're going to bring more revenue into your pocket if and the shop's pocket. So it only makes sense for me to share some of those uh, commissions with these the barbers that are putting the work in. Those are your clients. So we're already on a shared basis with commission or booth rent for services being offered. So might as well rope this into. So mine is set so that if you sell any product at all, no matter how much, in a year's time, you'll make 10% to start on that. And then if you sell 500 to $1,000 worth of product in that year's time, you make 15%. If you sell 1,000 to 1,500 worth, you make 20%. And if you sell 1,500 or over, you make 25%. So one of my barbers that's been with me the longest, without pushing product at all, without really trying to, be a salesman. In no disrespect to him, he's got a style of the way he does things, and he's got rapport with his clients, so he doesn't have to. But without really trying to push a lot of these tactics, he was able to sell somewhere over $1,000 worth this year. And so, he gets a check for 200 bucks. It's great. It's a good little Christmas bonus. We pay it out November 1st. So if somebody really wanted to try and work at it, like I think I sold $4,000 worth of product. Um, and, yeah, I'm the owner and yeah, it's my product line. So I talk passionately about it. But this product line is easy to sell. It sells itself. There's a bunch of benefits. If you're not carrying products that are going to sell themselves, then drop them. A lot of these product lines are so expensive that it's hard to make money on too. So you've got to find something that is of good quality and a decent price point, and don't go for the products that are $15 wholesale. Some of these are just getting out of hand, and not to throw shade, but Layrite, it's like, oh, Barber made, and man, is it expensive. They're more expensive than I am, and I'm like a small time. And I think if you can't sell this cheaper, what's the point? Because people aren't making a huge margin off it. Anyway, so having a commission structure will incentivize barbers, and whether you're a barber or a barbershop owner, you should either implement this or try to talk your barbershop owner into implementing this, because I think it is hands down the absolute best way to handle it. Um, I offer, we can take cash, but I have a sign up that says card only, and that allows me to keep track of these sales. So I run Square Booking and Square Point of Sale, and the Square Point of Sale has options for commission tracking. And really, I just need to see the sales. But I think I pay extra to assign a PIN number, a sales PIN number to each barber, and that way they walk up to the sales little terminal thing, which this thing is awesome. It's kind of pricey. It's like 200 or 225. But I can take this out and just walk anywhere with it. I could, anywhere there's internet, Wi-Fi, which you could use your phone as a hotspot. And they walk up and they put their code in, and then all the products come up. And that allows us to keep such good track that I know what's being sold all the time. And then I just say, if somebody wants to pay cash, don't say no, and then I just give them the payout of that right on the spot, because I'm just like, I'm not going to keep track of this end of the year. So that being said, commission is the way to go. Now, for the next part of this, we're gonna get objections. You're gonna get people that come in and they're gonna have a million different things to say about why they don't need product, and that's fine. Like I said, we really aren't trying to pressure anyone. However, a lot of people have a natural inclination to object, and I've done it myself. Somebody comes up and they want to sell you something, and you think, oh, that's actually kind of interesting, but immediately you go, not interested, and then I think, why did I say that? Like, why did I jump to that conclusion so fast? And it's just because we're trained. We're kind of trained, and most of the time, I think we're overwhelmed by people trying to push things, and we all talk about when you go to Gardner White Furniture, and you've got the guy there that is, you walk in the door and they jump on you, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? What can I help you with?" You're like, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine." When really you might have questions, but you don't even want to engage because they're so pushy. So to me, that's always been fun. But my thought is you do have to overcome those natural objections, because they're going to happen. And sometimes they're done for the wrong reasons. And that's what I have here. So, what are most objections? A lack of understanding. They don't see the benefit so maybe you haven't explained it as good as you should. Um, so sometimes you say, "Oh, you want some product? Ah, yeah, maybe," and you haven't talked about it. Well, you haven't done this part. Make it personal. Find the need to serve. So what I would do is I would say, "Oh yeah, earlier you said you have a product at home, but you've been leaning into the matte finish. And you don't really have a matte finish, but you'd like a matte finish. You're not really keen on the shine these days, like you said. So this is what I would recommend for you. That's me making it personal. You're touching on the need, whether they said they need it or not. You're identifying that there's a need, especially if they have allowed you to see that there's a need. And then the other option, I'm sorry, the other objection that you'll get is one that is based in a lack of trust. So maybe you haven't built rapport and established yourself as an authority on the matter. And so they maybe aren't really ready to trust you as the authority on what product they should be using. So when I'm talking about product with my clients, like again, I ask the style every time because I want to talk about product. I want them to know that I am an absolute nerd about product. I love product. I've been playing with product since I was a baby, practically, when my mom cut hair out of her shop, and I was able to have my hands in a multitude of products. So I used everything I could, and I got picky real quick because I saw that there was a huge defining line between good and bad. So um, build your authority on the subject matter by learning your products. Again, we got to know what we're selling. We got to have a full line that addresses all needs, and we got to have good stuff. And we have to find stuff that isn't super overpriced. Don't go with the trendy brand name stuff. People are very quick to buy the off brand if it's going to meet those same needs. And you'll see a lot of that with, like Aldi. Aldi is a store completely based on generic products. They don't have the name brands, and they say so. That's their whole shtick. So people go there because they know I'm going to get the same product at cheaper cost, and I'm going to save the money. And there's a huge demographic of people that look for that. So don't think you got to carry the name brand products. Some of them are great, but I guarantee you there's 12 for every one that is spending, millions of dollars on marketing and advertising. So do a little bit of digging. Don't just take what's out there and what you know. Try to find this, I guess I'd call it like the Goldilocks zone of products. So the other option, the other type of objection would be a lack of timing objection. So, oh, I'm not ready yet, and so a lot of times I say, oh, that's okay. We're running a discount right now, or we got a special, or sometimes I'll make a product that I'm proud of, but for some reason I kind of fudge it a little bit on a specific batch, and I'll say, oh, I'm just going to sell these at the counter for $10 instead of my normal 25. And for a handmade product full of natural beneficial ingredients, most people would jump at that and they're gone within 3 days. So having something that's on sale, super helpful. Running sales, super helpful. It helps you to overcome objections. Um, so basically, we want to clarify, connect, coach. We want to make sure that we are clarifying that they have a need because they might not even know they have a need. You want to connect by making sure that they understand that you have recognized this need and you're going to talk about it now, and you're going to talk about all the things that you have. You're going to coach them on what works best for them and their hair type and make it personal. And again, it's not a shameful process because you're adding value to their service. Even if you don't get a sale out of them, they're going to look at you and think, ah, this guy knows. He knows exactly what I need. He's got all these products. He knows them like the back of his hand. And so my trust is in him completely. And again, if it's not the right timing, then next time it will be in, they'll be in and they'll probably make the sale. But so let's talk about some basic objections. This is the fun part. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need any product. All right. Well, let me show you the difference so you can make an informed decision when you do need product. Let's style your hair today, and I think that you would do really well with this medium hold matte finish. And I'd love for you to see it. And then when you're ready, you have some, some knowledge about what we carry here. Is that fair? Yeah. Okay. Nobody can say no to that. I'll get it next time. I'll pick it up next time. All right. Well, we've got a sale right now that might not be here when you come back. Or if you have trouble styling with your products that you have at home, uh, let me know next time you're in, and we'll find the right one for you. Great. Okay. Cool. Um, Too expensive. I don't usually hear that because I build value in my products. So if you're not continually building value in your products, then of course you're going to have a hard time at the point of sale making it clear that these are valuable products. So when somebody comes in and they use my product, one of the first things that they do when I'm styling their hair is like, "Oh, that smells good. What is that?" And I say, "Oh yeah, that's orange peel extract." And they go, "Oh wow." And I said, "And cedarwood oil." I go, "Oh wow." I'm like, "Yep, we use really natural ingredients to scent, and we don't have like these little like perfume names in the ingredient list that don't really tell you anything." Um, so I kind of go deep on that, or they'll say, "Hey, I really like how your product um, combs through. In the middle of the day, I can kind of like reshape it if I need to." And I'll say, "Oh yeah, that's actually fatty alcohol." So most hair products use um, crappy alcohol, and the fatty alcohol is the one that's actually good for your hair and scalp, whereas all these other ones are basically rubbing alcohol, and that's why they dry, and that's why they get crispy because they are naturally dissipating super fast in the air, whereas the fatty alcohol doesn't. And so what you're experiencing is a cheaper ingredient, and usually they go, "Wow, I had no idea. Never knew that." So we're looking at it like build value, build value, build value. Every time somebody says something about my product, I reinforce it with some information so that they are, keen on it themselves. And so when it comes time to make a purchase, they know all these things about my products already. I don't have to say anything. And they say, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely take one of those." And I've got clients that have moved away to different states that now order it from across the country. And that is the value that I've built into this product line. So overcoming these objections is huge. You've got to take time to really think about what is going to be a hurdle for your clients and try to get ahead of it before you even get to that point. I think one of the biggest benefits that I had in doing that was when I was when I was when I was selling product, when I was guiding my customers to a product, I would often hear, I got a bunch of stuff at home and I kind of got to go through that before I pick up something else. I don't want to keep collecting all this stuff. I got to go through it. And then it was an objection that I got to that I thought, wow, I'm not really sure how to handle that one. And then I started realizing, just give it to me and I'll give you a discount. And they said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, bring your product that you're using right now in, and I will take it, whether there's, almost a complete jar full or just a couple finger dips left. Bring it in. I'll give you $5 off the pomade here." And so I don't even know where they are. I threw them away at first. And I just recently started thinking, I should do is collect them and keep them and kind of use it as a testament to my product's strength by putting it on display somehow. So I was going to get like a garbage can or like a barrel or something and put it out and then put a sticker on it that said, "Insert off-brand or other brand, competitor brand products in here for $5 off a purchase today." So I'm going to do that. Barrels are actually humongous and expensive, so I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet. I was looking for like a whiskey barrel because I got the bar back there. Oh, you can't see it's right there. So we'll see what I end up with. But the idea is I removed that objection completely. And so, "Oh no, I can't do it today. I got too many at home. I got to go through." "Oh, you know what? Bring them in. If you bring in three, I'll give you $15 off." And now they're looking at like, "Oh, I can do something with these, get some of the money back that I lost on buying these crappy pomades I don't even like, and get one of his today on discount. This is amazing." And so I've started to kind of collect these pomades and, what am I gonna do? Make a tower of it? I don't know. We'll see. And so that was a great way to remove the objection. So yeah, I mean, the psychology of the chair is, you know, we're already in a position of authority on the matter. If somebody's sitting in your chair, chances are they say, "Hey, I trust that this person's going to give me a good cut. They're going to do a good job," and they decided to go with you. So um, don't take that lightly. Think of that as the first step in building trust, and cradle that customer very carefully. And most likely, if you're doing all the things we talked about today, you'll be able to build that customer into a not only a lifetime customer because you've exuded all of this authority on the topics that have to do with hair and barbering, but you've also shown them that you're going to take care of their needs and they're going to keep coming back to you because they know that. So, like I said, you're building rapport, you're building trust, you're building retention, and then you're also building your income. It is wildly insane how much adding a beard trim on to most clients in a day will affect your income by the end of the month. If I decided that I was going to look at my books and say, I could probably get a beard trim out of three of these people. I book about 15 or 16 cuts a day, which is a lot less than I used to back in the day, but I've got four kids at home now, so we got to be home for dinner. But 15 or 16 cuts in a day, and you're going to add three beard trims in, that's pretty doable. That's, what is that, 20%? Um, so my beard trims are a $10 add-on to a haircut. And so you've got a $30 service. I have $30 haircuts. $30 service goes to 40. So that's an extra $30 a day. It's equivalent to an extra haircut a day. And then you've got 30 times most barbers working 4 or 5 days a week. Let's just call it four. So then 30 times four, it's $120 a week. Oh, hold on. Aprons, if you're going to add on $30 a day, and that 30 times four becomes 120 a week, and then that's $480 a month. 480 a month. That's a car payment. $480 a month is a huge chunk of money. And that's just three extra beer trims a day. So when you really start to dig in, if you look at adding those beer trims on, you look at trying to upsell products, you look at, potential commission, potential added retention, that's huge. And honestly, I think a lot of my clients have referred their friends and family to me just based on my sense of authority on, hair and styling and beard, and by cementing yourself as that authority on the subject, you're going to have people add that trust factor, and that's going to extend to all these other people that your clients know, and that's how you really start to build. And even through the slow season, I mean, after the holidays, things dip down. So you might see your clientele, start to stretch it out a little bit. So put all this work in now to try and get your name spread around a little bit and build that following you have, because you'll really notice that you want it and you need it in the slower months that are coming ahead. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you found it helpful and informational. And I can't wait to do another one. Please like and leave a comment. And I guess if I could leave you with a lasting question, it would just be, what's one way that you can drastically improve your business today, by not just overcoming objections, but by upselling? What's one way that you can, improve your service that will help you to earn more, retain more, and ultimately just build your business better? If you could pick up one thing from this talk that you're gonna put into action, leave it in the comments below, and I'd love to have a little bit of one-on-one with you, and get to know you and things that you're doing. And if you want to learn more, join us in the Skool app. It's Skool with a K and /Levelheaded Academy. And I'd love to see you there. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.